Hit record too.
Why not?
Oh, well, missed that whole part. But hey, we really hadn't started the show. So, yeah, not a ton to talk about today. We do have one item that I'd like to discuss because it looks like 2019 wants its bad take back. And it is resurfaced because the access media just is... We're going through like a bit of a lull thanks to the strikes, and like they canceled a bunch of movies and there's nothing coming out except the Marvels. So now it's like, hey, let's blame Star Wars fans for Ahsoka sucking. Ahsoka. So we'll go over that. Some big time actors met with the SAGs in the last 48 hours. No details, but just on the surface, it looks like George Clooney and some others went in there and went, what the hell's going on here? Why don't we have a deal? Why aren't we working? So there's that. And we have some good news. If you're a fan of a certain show that I like quite a bit. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how's it going, Gary?
A little under the weather today.
I'm a little under the weather. I was at Son of Monster Palooza this weekend, which was a blast. Sam Raimi was there.
Whoa.
It's cool. Fun Ted Raimi, the Raimis. But it's a really fun, it's one of the best horror conventions that I've been to. So, and it's twice a year. And I went a little hard, but also I might have gotten a little con crud. So I'm just a bit under the weather, but you know, what am I going to do? I'm going to talk about nerd stuff, whether I'm sick or not. I might as well just talk to you and X-Ray Girl. And we had a great conversation yesterday on X-Ray Girl's show. I talked about, I was on Dadcast. I think basically you and I, Gary, are the fathers of Dadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I called Chris the OG daddy.
Oh, daddy.
Daddy.
I always thought
different.
When you play that clip.
It's a little different.
When you play that clip, Daddy Chill, I always thought that was you, X-Ray Girl. I didn't realize it was some dude.
I feel like Chris's world broke when he
I was like, she showed me the clip, and I'm like, I always thought that, like, I heard her voice in my head. Daddy Chill.
Daddy Chill.
Yeah.
Daddy Chill.
Yeah, that sounds
what
just
the
like.
hell is even that?
I've seen that clip a million times, and I didn't realize it wasn't your voice.
Yeah.
No. So welcome, Chris. Thanks for being the show must go on, man. Being a warrior.
Exactly. Hell yeah.
You know, just roughing it, not even putting on pants, rolling out of bed, sitting in your Batman chair.
How did you know? I literally am wearing what I went to sleep in, and I just got coffee, and here
Experience?
I am.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
Gary's like, I probably would have done that a time or two.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hello. Oh, shit.
Oh.
Where'd it go?
He's trying to scare me with all this scary stuff.
Excellent. Good.
Oh, hello, Gary-san. I'm really excited. So I'm getting in the works to get my winter car on the road for the meetup. I'm excited for like putting on the snow tires because I think the meetup in Wisconsin, was it Wisconsin?
Yeah.
It's going to be so exciting. I know everyone's really excited for it. And unfortunately, those tickets are all sold out.
Sorry.
They went quick.
Yeah, they did.
But there will be more meetups next year.
Next year.
Like
Vegas. Including Las Vegas. And if you're in the Vegas area, Vegas kind of blowing up right now. Like, not, that's probably a bad term.
It's escapism, realistically.
It's financially blowing up. It's got the Sphere. It survived COVID somehow, and it's doing pretty well. And it's a fun place to go. So if you're in Vegas and you're a nerd, which if you're watching this, you probably are. And if you're looking for a cool place to hang out in Las Vegas, check out the Nerdvana. That is the Millennium Fandom Bar. That's where we've had all our meetups. Alex is a crazy Frenchman who owns it and had this crazy idea to make a sports bar a nerd bar, essentially. So there's trivia, there's karaoke, they do cosplay contests, they do watch parties. That's how I found it. Melissa and I went to Vegas, I think, for our anniversary back in 2016. Game of Thrones was still on. And We saw, I know what episode it was, The Broken Man, where the Hound comes back, right? And Ian McShane's in it, and they really just kind of destroyed the whole concept of the of that. If you've ever read the quote or heard, people have done audio dramatizations of The Broken Man on it. Listen to it. It's really great. It's a great thing about war, but I digress. We saw that episode. They have gaming tournaments, board games, and you can even book your next corporate event at the Millennium Fandom Bar. Things like convention kickoffs, network mixers, and holiday parties, cosplay photo shoots, or just plain team building fun. Follow the Millennium Fandom Bar Las Vegas on Instagram, where cosplay or not, it's fandom. Cosplay or not, it's fandom. And hail Alex. We love Alex, that crazy Frenchman.
They got great drinks there, like nerd style drinks. Really good.
It's a fun place. It's a fun place. It's a little past the Stratosphere. They got a parking lot right in front. It's a good time. Mm-hmm. It's a good time. Mm-hmm. And we'll be back there. So thank you, X-Ray Girl. And we're going to put together a little video for him and stuff. And this is just because I like Alex. This is my friend. So, and I think it's a good concept. And he wants to take it other places too, which I think is a great idea. A better idea was he was originally going to do it in San Francisco, and he decided not to. That was probably his best move.
That was a great idea to not do it there.
To not do it there and do it in Vegas.
You saved your money.
Now, our next meetup, I don't know if this is our next meetup, right? But the Vegas meetup will be in April, and it will be during CinemaCon. Probably not going to go to CinemaCon. Little expensive, a little too shilly for me, but I think it's good. There might be other, critics there and kind of in our sphere that might want to come along and hang out with us. I think it's a good time to be there with movie people, just not go to the actual Shillfest. Although you do get to see hey, everybody got to see The Flash early and said it was great. Oh,
no, I remember Rob Burnett had just come from the screening. He was like,
I remember.
He did that thing where your voice goes up and you can tell you're kind of
telling a little fib.
It was good.
I don't think it was a fib. It was Robert trying to be as nice as possible without fibbing. So it was all right. And he might believe that, but he did not highly praise it like other people were. No. And we saw Robert's movie. There, a screening thanks to the Salty Nerd Podcast. The Salty Nerd Podcast is based in Las Vegas too, and they I believe rent out their facilities if you want to do, and that's where we're probably going to do FNT. That's where we're going to do FNT next time. So they had an unfortunate incident like right after our appearance there, but everything's fine now. They're doing good. We love Matthew Kadish. We love the Salty Nerd Podcast.
They were lovely.
Yeah,
great.
A lot of good people in Vegas. A lot of good people in the Vegas area. I would have, if like Nevada. I'll be real. If it hadn't gone blue, which is inexplicable to me that Nevada is like blue, the city of Las Vegas, I probably would have moved there. But didn't because it was just too damn close to California. So that's it. I guess since we're in the announcement mode, I was talking about this with X-Ray Girl. Chris Gore knows all about it.
What? Oh. What is this announcement? You should have. Is there music that can go with this announcement?
No. This is an announcement of I'm pondering how I'm going to fully announce the book.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I'm writing a book. Not really saying what it's about right now, but I'm writing a book. I just looked at the first parts of the first chapter. Looks really good, I think. And I'll probably make a video announcing it with probably an excerpt from the book. That's probably what I'll do. Just came up with that idea this morning, by the way. We still have a lot of work to do on it. I'm looking for artists. Right now, we're in the process of looking for a couple of artists. I already got one in mind because the author wanted me to do the art in it. I'm like, maybe one page. I haven't even put a blue pencil to paper in 5 years, but I'll do one. I haven't shown anybody my art. So
first of all, congratulations, Gary.
Cheers.
I know this is a project that's been long in the making, but I know Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers isn't here. or drunk 3PO. But on behalf of them, I'd like to ask, are there pictures in the book?
Yes, that's why specifically for Jeremy, because we know he can't read what's in between the pictures. That there are going to be a minimum of 7 pages of comic art. 7 pages. This is a book, but it's going to have minimum 7 pages of comic book art. So Jeremy will be able to at least look
at those pages.
I don't know if they'll be color. If they're not color, then he can color them with his crayons. So
a coloring book.
A coloring book. So we'll find out. But more on that later. The way it's situated, you're just going to order it when it's done. That's the way I think it is right now. That could change. We still have to have conversations about it, but it's going to be like put on like Amazon and Barnes and Noble and stuff like that. So, but I'll get a bunch that I can sell at convention or meetups or whatever. And by the way, the reason our meetups like sell out so quick is I am adamant about not charging you guys. I'm never going to do that. Like just not. And I can't afford big arenas, and I don't think we're at the big arena thing yet, but I think we're like the bar situation, which is usually maximum occupancy of between 150 people to 450 people is, depending on where it is, it's getting a bit like, we need to find maybe, I was thinking like a Scottish Rite Center or something like that. Those are a little cheaper to rent out, but then we'd have to import in the drinks. So, we'll figure it out. I'm working on it, but, my promise to you guys is, if I'm in a convention, yeah, you got to pay to get in a convention, but it's not for me, right? But or anybody else. But if it's going to be one of my meetups, this is my thank you to you. So no, and as much as I can, I'm going to try to get a food truck or something like that. Not on everyone, but just doing my best on that one. So thank you guys, really appreciate it. Sorry the Wisconsin one went so fast. Hey, did you know that if you don't like Ahsoka, you're a white supremacist?
Oh my God. Are they doing that again? It's so cliche. You can literally, sometimes I'll see something and I'm like, when will we see the article? And then it already exists, right? Like vilifying the fans as a way to deflect attention from the flaws of these shows. The obvious flaws.
Right. And it's so late in the game on this argument. Like this is an argument that the fans have won. All right. So there are Star Wars fans and there's Disney Star Wars fans. Right. So you're talking about Star Wars fans. You're talking about OG, original trilogy, prequel, EU, Star Wars fans who have liked characters like Lando Calrissian and Princess Leia, Mace Windu.
I know.
It was a stupid argument then, but there's way more awareness of it thanks to many videos made by many people, comments by all of you on Twitter just shooting this thing down because there was a lot of, like, frankly, especially in the entertainment media, and this goes way back, posers, tourists, outright frauds who didn't just flat out didn't know what they're talking about. So this article, the only reason I bring it up is because they bring up rewriting Ripley again.
Oh no.
No.
It's the same argument, and it's drawn from that, which was an op, dude. It was just straight up an op, and I don't have proof, but there is tangential evidence that there were Lucasfilm people either supporting this. I'm not going to say they inspired it or told people to write it, but they were certainly supporting it, including one Pablo Hidalgo. And one of the people who wrote this article, it's been a couple of years now. God, I was looking for a house in San Antonio when this went down. So it's been 3 years. But one of the people who wrote the article, like, used to work with Star Wars in some capacity. Can't remember. Ask Ryan. He'll know because he's kinetistic. But here we go. You want to pull that article? Oh, where'd you go?
Yeah, where'd you go? Where are you?
X-ray girl.
But this argument is so stupid because Star Wars fans have loved a diverse group of characters for years. And,
Yes.
and it's stupid. So it's utter. This is a ridiculous argument because these are the same people that were fans. I remember people being pissed off that Lando wasn't in, the first 2 Star Wars sequels. Where's Lando? Like, Billy D. Williams is here. You're not using him. And then, of course, he gets a bit thing in Rise of Skywalker, which is arguably the worst Star Wars film ever made.
Yeah.
I mean, ever, of all of them. And I'm including episode 2, which, if you look back, is, yes, there are parts I know that are bad, but there are parts that are awesome.
Oh, dude, I'd watch Attack of the Clones 1,000 times.
Yeah.
More than a second of Disney Star Wars trilogy. At least you have like Yoda, fighting against Count Dooku and stuff. And like that, yeah, it looks like performative dance in front of a green screen, but a lot of it. But dude, it's still 1,000 times better than anything they've ever made. I got your back on that one, prequel fans. Okay. Can we talk about just this website title for a second?
Yes.
Fuck this title. Fuck this title. Back in my day, when you said things like colored people, that was bad. That was considered bad. So we were trying to move past that because it is bad. In that reference, they're people. They're just people. They have names. Okay. Certainly, they have an identity. But I would guess that the vast majority of them are just Bob or Bill or Joe or whatever. So that this push, and then this people of color thing started coming out, which is just divisive title, and it's horrible, and it plays into it, and it's pandering. By the way, going to completely cover into the Panderverse by South Park on October 27th. It's marked on my calendar. Can't effing wait. Because it will deal with this issue, which is like, it's a dead issue. It's a dead issue. Star Wars is in flames right now. It's smoldering. It's not even, it's done. It's dead.
Yeah.
It's fucking dead. There's no way it will ever reach what Disney wanted it. And they wanted to reach the heights of George Lucas's Star Wars and never do that. Cultural phenomenon, cultural disaster. Big difference. Big difference. So Geeks of Color. How about Geeks of Talent? That's what we need.
I just think that all this stuff, to me, these arguments that I've seen, it's just rebranded racism. That's what it is. I think that's exactly what it is. God, I remember like my grandparents used the term colored people, but that was because the era they grew up in, that was the respectful term.
That was the respectful term for it.
That was the respectful term, was colored people. Oh, that's, but they had neighbors and friends. They never referred to their friends as colored people. It was like you said, my friend Bill or my friend this. Like, no, they didn't distinguish that. It's so stupid. So it's oh my God.
That's the game of identity politics.
Yeah.
Identity politics. Writer, Geeks of Color, writer makes ridiculous claim that critics of Disney's terrible Star Wars movies and shows are white supremacists.
People.
This is probably the 1,000th article. I'm over exaggerating. 900th article written about this in the last 5 or 6 years. So Andre Cabrera recently made the bizarre claim that, and by the way, don't go after not that you guys will, but don't go after Andre. Free speech is free speech. You're allowed to sound as dumb as you want. Cabrera recently made the bizarre claim that critics of Walt Disney Company's atrocious Star Wars movies and television shows are white supremacists. Cabrera took to X, Twitter, to assert the claim. A lot of people forget that, but there is a direct correlation between the white supremacist crowd and the unbridled hatred of Star Wars sequels. Okay. He added, I saw in real time that they scouted out the Star Wars fandom and potential haven for spreading their message of hatred. Who's they? Who's they? Where's he getting this they from? What do you mean by they? A lot. Okay, so. Next, he wrote, it started with a straightforward racist approach of hating The Force Awakens because a black stormtrooper was one of the leads of the movie. Ryan has pointed this out. I pointed this out. everybody's pointed this out. The backlash over the black stormtrooper was ignorant morons who didn't know anything about Star Wars, right? And it was largely they thought it was supposed to be a clone, and it wasn't. Frankly, I thought Finn, when I first saw that trailer, that was the most interesting thing about the trailer. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. What's this? Turned out to be nothing. He's a janitor. But
right.
You want to talk about racism?
I know. You talk about racism. The way that John Boyega's character was treated in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, that should be more a subject of ire than all of this. Because if you think about it, he was the most interesting character because we've seen the journey of a Jedi. We've never seen someone break conditioning, right? Imperial conditioning, to break from that, to not follow orders and to say, I'm not going to slaughter a group of people on a planet. I don't know how he went from sanitation or being a janitor to, being now a stormtrooper in the First Order, but that was an interesting idea because we'd never seen it.
Yeah. When did he, he went on a pretty, according to Force Awakens, which was crap, but he went on a pretty important op with Kylo Ren.
Right.
Yeah. To kill Max von Sydow.
And then we never found out who Max von Sydow's character was.
Nope.
He was just handing over a flash drive.
Yeah.
It was so ridiculous. It's so
dumb. When
you look back at the Star Wars sequel trilogy, it's so dumb, so ill-planned, just so many bad ideas. And I don't know. God, it's to me the biggest, we've talked about it, but it's going to be looked back upon as the biggest missed opportunity in entertainment history.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. Books will be written. They should have been written by now, but they will be. Yeah, and wasn't the flash drive just part of the map to find the quitter Luke Skywalker, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy who ran away.
So ran away and got Max von Sydow killed and a bunch of other people because he ran away?
Because he was sad.
God, I hate that movie so much. When their target audience didn't fall in line with that blatantly racist take, they moved on to good old-fashioned misogyny. Okay. No receipts yet, but hang on. The hatred of Rey became a massive point for Star Wars channels as soon as The Force Awakens came out. He added nearly every corner of Star Wars YouTube featured the targeted campaign that against Rey because she was a Mary Sue. She was. This coordinated effort. So that implies that all of the YouTube channels, by the way, this is before me, coordinated effort created similar talking points with different variations in order to spread across online spaces. So are you insinuating that one person was like, hey, there's a YouTuber, let's give him a call?
Right.
Did we get paid? Were we just taking orders and we went, okay, Steve Bannon? Let me get, he's putting it up for receipts. All right. Go on.
Real quick, did FNT exist in 2015?
No, not in, no.
And I remember the initial reaction was, I think people were mostly enthusiastic, which I didn't agree with because I hated the way that Han Solo was treated. It felt off to me. It just felt like this is how they're starting this. Like no Luke until the end. And then that sort of ends as like, it was all mystery box BS. And I remember people being sort of enthusiastic, not loving it, but enthusiastic.
There was tons of enthusiasm, goodwill. I didn't like it, questioned it, thought I might like it, went back and watched it again and hated it even more. So,
and I are the same.
But I was like, everybody loves this. That's weird. That's freaking weird, And I was working. It was just like this whole podcast thing was a complete, just a side hobby at the time. And my last Jedi review, my first one is with John Reed, my old friend John Reed, who liked it and I didn't like it. And I can't even remember it, but debated it. And I called it an abomination. I'm like, it was an abomination. What the hell was that? But it was mainly about Luke. That's what everybody had a problem with. An important thing to remember is that these takes came from the same people, the same ones who were screaming and crying because there was a black lead in the Star Wars movie. Okay, for one, that is just a fucking lie. It is a lie. It is an absolute lie. Comes from the same spaces that originates of the hate movement against Rey. That's who we're dealing with. After The Last Jedi, all hell broke loose. I wonder why. Could it be because, for one, The Force Awakens killed Han Solo. That's what people were pissed about. Even the people who liked the movie are like, they didn't need to kill Han. And when you go back and look at it, his death is terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And people are pissed at The Last Jedi over the treatment of Luke. Yes, there's other shitty things. There's Admiral Holdo and the Holdo maneuver and fucking everything else in that movie, but it all pales in comparison to what they did to Luke. Okay, end of story. After The Last Jedi, all hell broke loose. The message became even more effective with the camouflage talking points that were made to seem more sensible and related while still harboring the same theme. The sugar-coated, the brazenness. I know how to say this, but I can't.
Brazenness.
Brazenness. Right? Yes, of their contempt to appear more reasonable. Oh, we're trying to soften our message to lure you in because you're just a gullible viewer who believes everything you hear on the internet. Which you're not. Okay. Now, these guys are some dumb motherfuckers, but okay. After The Last Jedi, all hell broke. Okay, I read that one. Okay. Interestingly, he claims that it's spreading as Disney pumps out more Star Wars television shows D+. The problem is the sentiment is still alive and growing within the Star Wars community. We saw it with the hatred against Riva, against Obi-Wan. Very interesting that they farmed. You can do this at any time. I can do this at any time. I can find a couple of comments and build an entire narrative around it. But I wouldn't because I don't care about the comments. But a marketing department would. A marketing department would to generate interest in a show they know isn't good. We are seeing that right now with Director X. Director X is running an op because he knows his show isn't good. So he's trying to turn it into a movement. Watch Robin Hood, you fight racism. But the truth is, I just need people to support my shitty show. It's called fan baiting. Too many female characters. Too many female characters in Obi-Wan. Too many female characters that didn't need to be there. If you had female characters that needed to be there, sure. But you decided to focus on Obi-Wan's story, which should have been a story of Luke and Obi-Wan, and made it into a little bitty Princess Leia story and Reva. It should have been Luke, Obi-Wan hiding from Darth Vader and never meeting, by the way. Maybe getting close, but never meeting. We saw it with the hatred against Reva. Too many female characters. Take against Ahsoka. I mean, mostly all the female characters. I mean, nobody's wrong there. If you're talking about Ahsoka, no, you're not wrong there. And it goes on. It has become almost inconceivable from regular Star Wars fandom. He then appeared to realize he was blanketing every critic of Disney Star Wars and attempted to walk it back. Clearly, I'm not saying I dislike or disappointment in a recent Star Wars project automatically equates to the worst of the fandom. However, there is a distinct between bad faith positions of Star Wars fandom that has become effective in their message and branding, just speaking the truth. Really? Got some facts to back that up? He then concluded the truth is online grifters have grown exponentially in recent years, and it's important to remember how a lot of them choose Star Wars as the pop culture watering ground in order to cultivate further hateful themes and capture the attention of an overly eager fan base. That doesn't exist anymore. Here's a fact of the matter. Like, not coming Star Wars again wouldn't hurt this channel at all. Okay.
Yeah.
If I just never fucking talked about it again, because it's irrelevant at this point because of Disney. This is just cope. The truth is online grifters have grown exponentially. Okay, I read that part. Oh, look. There's been a lot of people who have pointed out that the same issue, but I want to bring attention to this post by Rewriting Ripley that really gets into it.
Oh my God. Ugh.
We have gone over it many times in the past. Rewriting Ripley managed to they were supposed to start a whole podcast or whatever. They got 3 articles in, whatever. Long story short, the ghost of Rush Limbaugh and Steve Bannon came to us at night and told us to use Star Wars to cultivate hate and division in this country when Disney used Star Wars to cultivate hate and division in this country. There you go. And where's Rewriting Ripley now? Nowhere to be found. Novelist John De La Rosa reacted to Cabrera's claims, point by point in a recent YouTube video, explained it was a rehash of A New Hope that was poorly done, without the emotion, without the caring, without the characters, with strong female lead who has nothing to do with anything, and some black guy. That's all it was. They literally just rebooted it with a woman and a black guy. He's right. He's right. It was low effort, and it absolutely succeeded, and that set the tone for Disney for the next decade. They thought, wow, we put nothing into this and just made $2 billion on this film. Well, shit, we can do that with everything. And when did The Force Awakens come out?
2015 December.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. When did Civil War come out? What was the release date? Right around the same time, right? Marvel. Okay.
Was it maybe the summer before? I gotta look this up.
Release date. I'm just saying. 2016. 2016. Yeah. So around 2015, Disney realized, oh shit, we don't have to put a ton of effort in this. Lawrence Kasdan barely wrote a script. He was on set, probably, editing Jar Jar's ADHD script that they were making up as they go. And they had the story group. And they're like, oh shit, we don't have to pay big time writers. We can just pump it full of special effects, fix it in post, not put much effort into it, and just put girls everywhere. And it'll just make money. And they did that for 10 years, and now everything's shit. Well, good job. Good job. What Geeks of Color doesn't realize when they're specifically going after content creators is they're not specifically going after content creators. They're going after fans. They're calling fans of every make, shape, size, and aspect. They're calling you racist. So when Geeks of Color or other critics go out there and they go specifically after the fandom, and then they're like, man, nobody's watching my videos anymore. Wonder what I did. Well, you don't realize that you don't own your audience. You don't have an audience. There is the audience. We are all members of the audience. There's a lot of cross-pollination. There's a lot of people who will watch 2 completely opposite YouTubers, and they don't really appreciate that. I mean, it's really simple. But when you have, Hollywood writers, and when you have very young or very old, inexperienced, just went to school, didn't do much else, they don't realize that on a human level. They react emotionally. Completely. And shitting on the fans hasn't worked. It will never work. And it will continue to be your undoing the more you do it. That's why even Hollywood is going to start backing off on that, because they realized it was a really fucking bad strategy. And it's led to the complete destruction of multiple intellectual properties.
Yes, 100%. Disheartening. It's so disheartening.
Oh, and the loss of billions of dollars that they just walked away from, they left on the table. Billions of dollars. of people who forget the YouTubers, forget the content creators. Think about the fans who just walked away and didn't say a word. That's the majority. They're just like, fuck you. Okay, bye. Whatever. Got better things to do. So, yeah, this article could have been written in 2018, 2019, 2020. It's no different. And they cited something that was written in 2020. And they think rewriting Ripley. By the way, when they wrote this article, again, somebody was associated with Star Wars. Pablo Hidalgo retweeted it, liked it, supported it. That's the same Lucasfilm that behind the scenes worked very hard at getting rid of Gina Carano. Very hard at getting rid of Gina Carano. Like a lot of gay ops.
I'll say this. A lot of Gina Carano's social media posts have aged well.
I would say that too.
The current, not to spiral into a political conversation. I'm not going to spiral. But I think that some of her, wow, my camera is acting weird.
It's StreamYards.
You're really dark now.
I love how they put out an apology like it's totally fixed now.
It's so
It's
not
so
fixed.
not fixed.
I look like an Oompa Loompa.
I'm the whitest. I'm whiter than you.
Yeah, you're whiter than me.
People.
I don't know. StreamYard is messed up right now, folks. So apologies in advance. But a lot of what Gina Carano said, if you go back, including the social media post, which was the so-called offending one that got her released from Lucasfilm, that's aged very well. It's aged very well. And it's really, I mean, I'm not happy about that, but she was on point. If you look at her original social media post, which is the one that they claim this was the thing that sort of put her over the edge.
It's even more topical now.
Yeah, it's more topical now.
I'd say it's pretty topical now.
Hello, colleges.
Yeah,
a lot of interesting stuff happening there.
So, but what really did her in, and she said this already, but what, and it wasn't her fault. That was straw that broke the camel back to Disney, even though Pedro put out a worse tweet or Instagram post. It was the beep bop boop boop bop beep. That was it. That's what said.
That was it.
That's what started. This is my opinion. Here's what started the Lucasfilm employees from pulling gay ops, working behind the scenes, pressuring other people to get rid of her, even people like who didn't want to get rid of her. So, because there were people who didn't want to get rid of her, it's not surprising. Lucasfilm is they're projectors. They are the most. I hate to use this term, but they are the most toxic of cultures, toxic of creators. It is a bunch of like-minded lemming moron sheep who write diversity twice on a whiteboard while planning out Star Wars, along with dinosaurs. And you know what? We got everything we saw on that whiteboard so far. Just in Mandalorian season 3,
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs and diversity. That's what Disney Star Wars is, and now it's just dead. It's so tiresome hearing this argument, but we got to point it out because this is like, I don't know, a death rattle. This is why the entire Access media has fallen by the wayside, and what fans wanted was just the truth. And the truth is, you made bad movies due to bad writing, based on bad decisions through forced agenda. There you go. That pretty much wraps it up. And you go, well, we tried, we failed. Let's try something different. And people would have been fine. But no, because in that moment, you needed that movie to succeed for investors or whatever. You were desperate enough to attack your paying customers and didn't think there would be any repercussions from that. And these are the same people in charge right now trying to work out a strike, and like Trump said it. Trump said about Hollywood. He said there's a lot of dumb people with a lot of money there. And he's right. He's absolutely right.
100%.
It's incredible how many stupid people are in charge of money. A lot of money. in Hollywood. So we'll continue getting stupid things. And now they're paying the price overall, right? This actor strike, like, by no account should still be going on. Like, the actors, like,
No, people were predicting originally that once the WGA, like, all right, SAG is going to just take a couple of weeks to wrap up. They're dragging this out. And from people that I've spoken to, they're not even going to, because if they don't negotiate a deal before Thanksgiving, this is going to go into next year and well into next year. If they don't get something, because the entire town shuts down between Thanksgiving and just after New Year's, nothing happens. No one does business. So they've got a window of a month or so to wrap this up. It's it's hurting not just the entertainment industry. It's also hurting just the economy here in Los Angeles. Restaurants, even and I think part of it is, not just the industry is down, but inflation is way worse than has been reported.
yes.
Way worse. Far worse. There are videos where people like, hey, went to Costco a year ago. Here's the same product. And some of the costs of products have doubled. It's crazy. Like, I made a joke on Twitter, like, that I could bench press $600 worth of groceries. It's sad. And then Az is like, that makes more sense with like pounds, right? Like British pounds. It's like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, you should just steal my joke. And
Oh, he will.
well, I don't care.
He has no qualms about that.
Az is way funnier than I am. But like, the economy is bad. Like, it's nuts. Fewer people are going out because prices of everything have gotten insane. I saw it like on my Twitter feed. Somebody tweeted a picture of 2 cocktails they got at like some sports event and said it was $50 pre-tip. And and the guy was like, hey, I can afford it, but this is a ripoff. Like, this is a total ripoff. This is where we are now. And the sort of blatantly just ignoring this is pathetic.
Chris, it's almost like if you print a bunch of money, there's repercussions if it's not really based on anything. You're just printing it, right?
Oh,
and we all said this was going to happen, and it's happening.
Yeah.
But we can afford 2 wars. Somebody said that.
Yeah, well, we're going to get, at least we can watch World War III on our phones, right? That's going to be a good,
fantastic.
Be able to watch it from the phone, the safety of your phone. You can watch World War III breakout. Sorry, we're going down that road.
We're going down that road. Let's just talk about the Hollywood apocalypse. That's one we're very comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But what's going to happen, Chris, and you've mentioned this to me, is they're just going to start shooting in the UK. They already have. Amazon has a giant studio over there. They've shifted so much over to the UK. It's a completely different system. And you're going to just see a lot of British actors pretty soon. And they're going to outsource the hell out of it. When the strike ends, they're going to find a way. It's really expensive to shoot here. That's why you always see. Remember when, everything was shot in North Carolina or South Carolina? Then they moved it to Georgia. And the states move around based on the tax breaks you get. But right now, Atlanta is kind of a hot place to shoot because you get a bunch of. Remember when they weren't going to film in Georgia anymore?
Right.
Does anybody remember that? That
went away quick.
That was just 2.5 years ago. They're like, we're done with Georgia. And I remember watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, and there was like, Disney came out and said, we're going to reassess Georgia. And then right at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, it says, filmed in Georgia. And I'm like,
ridiculous.
But now Atlanta is becoming like Hollywood 2.0 because of the tax breaks. So I could see that happening with another country. They'll just outsource your ass. And you're not cultivating movie stars. That's I've gone over it in all my strike videos. That's Hollywood's big concern is they're not cultivating new stars. They're not getting the best talent. They're not getting the best and brightest in producing, which is obvious. And it's just had its time. And this is like the worst time strike ever. And it's going to be a disaster. It's already going to be a disaster, but it will be a biblical disaster if it goes into January. Like we're talking 2 years. Do you believe
huge.
Deadpool 3 is going to come out in May? May 4th
Is
of next year.
You think it's gonna? You think they're gonna rush it?
According to Games Radar, Deadpool 3 is not going to be delayed. It is going to come out May 4th. I think it's 4th or 5th of next year. Now, I'm sure they've been working on post. They can still work on post on it. So they've been doing it this whole time, but they haven't finished filming principal.
Well, I mean, these days, if you're like the way Spielberg works and some filmmakers work, is they previs the entire movie, right? They used to call them back in the day animatics.
At filmmakers, right? Proper filmmakers.
Yeah, filmmakers. Yes. So you effectively, like Spielberg, the way he worked, from my understanding, is that he would basically previs the entire film. So you've got like basically a version of the movie that, like, I mean, look, it's storyboards and temp voices and stuff, but he can sit and watch the movie. Then all he's doing is filling in the live action, right?
Yeah.
The live action parts is what he's filling in. So it's entirely possible, if you're a filmmaker that has the luxury of doing that. That's a costly process, by the way, to do that. That's why Denis Villeneuve's, I think, Dune and Dune Part 2 is I think we talked to a guy at
we did
San Diego Comic-Con. We talked to a guy, and that's part of the secret of his success. Like, why the effects are so much better is because he knows he's filling in the live action because he knows what he needs to get and where it fits and how to shoot it.
Unfortunately, sorry, Chris. Unfortunately, we learned from the Daredevil. You read the Daredevil article where they fired the writers and the directors. What did they mention in there? Marvel's style of making things. And they don't previs. They don't previs. So they might have previs Deadpool 3. Maybe they changed their ways. So you're saying it's possible.
I think it's possible, but I will say that it's also, I think it depends on the director. Like, I think a director will insist on being involved in that process. And other directors, as you pointed out, Gary, they cast certain directors are just like, what do you want? What do you need me to do? And then it's they fill in by shooting the live action. I think that was the case with the directors of Captain Marvel, who were very inexperienced. And then you had people like James Gunn that were more experienced in that arena and were involved in every step of that process, down to, like, color design. And he had put together a lookbook for what Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, was going to look like. He had a vision for all of this, and they were impressed by that. Marvel thought, wow, this guy kind of must know what he's doing. So, but other directors, I think, work differently. And I think when you look at, like, God, I'm spacing on the name of the woman who directed Eternals, which was
Chloe Zhao.
Chloe Zhao. Yeah. She had no experience in a big special effects movie. She did movies that were kind of like, I mean, there were these little indie movies that were like documentaries.
That were staring at scenery for, beautiful scenery, by the way. Beautiful scenery, Southwest.
They're fine independent films. I don't know how you look at those movies and say she should make a Marvel film.
Kirby. I'm thinking, let's have this. No, they wanted to. Okay. I'm not wrong on this at all, Chris. Mm-hmm. Ava DuVernay was announced to direct The New Gods.
Right.
And Marvel reacted. They're like, well, they got a woman of color to do a Kirby movie. We can get a woman of color to do a Kirby movie. Let's get Chloe Zhao. She just won an Academy Award. She'll do the Eternals.
Yeah.
That's how they work.
Yeah.
What is that? What would you, there's a term for that, Chris. There's a term for that. I think it's called racism. Pandering.
I just think it's definitely pandering.
It's definitely pandering. But it's a form. I would say it's definitely a form of bigotry. It's a redressed form of bigotry. It's like, because you're just being used, and not in the form that they hate. I think it's just like, we're gonna use your identity and your race to help sell a movie, instead of like maybe finding the right person to direct. Like, hey, you ever read a Jack Kirby comic?
Right.
And like, Jack Kirby is something you have had to have read comics in the 70s at minimum, 70s, to know anything about, like, understanding his art and how brilliant this guy is. There will never be another comic artist like him again, ever.
No one as prolific, and
none.
He also, while he didn't write the words necessarily, he aided in the storytelling. He and Stan Lee were like the best combo.
Yep.
They were like the Lennon and McCartney of comic books,
Yes.
in my opinion. That's how important their contribution was.
Well,
When you look at so many things that were created, and if you've seen documentaries about early Marvel comics, there's one on Stan Lee that's very good. I mean, he talks about how Stan Lee would come in and kind of perform what's supposed to happen, and he was very Shakespearean. And you see these poses of Stan Lee, where there's photographs of it where he's doing poses of Dr. Doom or Reed Richards, or he acts out the stories. Here's my story. He acts it out. Jack would sit there, and then he'd kind of like go in, and then Stan would kind of put the words in. And of course, if you read those old Marvel comics, they're so melodramatic and sometimes kind of cheesy, but heartwarming.
Heartwarming.
I
they
loved
had
those as a
heart.
kid.
So
They had heart. Yeah.
So even Amazing Spider-Man, but we're gonna go Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Captain America, the X-Men, and even the cover of Amazing Fantasy 15 and behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Jack Kirby had a hand in all of those. Those are still your main characters.
Yeah.
Stan Lee did too. Steve Ditko did too. Larry Lieber. They all had a hand in that, and that's why they've lasted this long. Dude, the reason I like he became like my first favorite superhero was the most simple reason, because I was 6. I'm like, that is the freaking, I mean, I didn't say it like this because I was 6, but it's the fucking raddest costume I've ever seen. That costume is brilliant. That is awesome. So that was it. It was just a costume. Could barely understand the words, didn't know what was going on. I'm just like, this is the coolest looking superhero I've ever seen. So it was design. It's your brand. That's why you don't change stuff like that. Then I got in the Fantastic Four, thought they were the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, it's a family. It's like a sitcom family, except they go on adventures and like, when I first saw Fantastic Four, I thought it was just basically Lost in Space, because that was my whole frame of reference, right? So it's sad what it's come to. Did you know there's a book out, Chris, that's making the rounds called The Reign of Marvel Studios?
Oh, I saw you guys talk about it on Real BBC.
So mine comes in today. I'm getting a hard copy version. I could have, there's an audiobook, there's Kindle. I'm going to go over it over the next few days. I know many other people are. There's tons of information, but I don't know. I've never heard of these 3 authors, and a lot of it is my sources. Okay. But it does line up. There's a lot of it that lines up.
Does it talk about how Phase 4 has kind of gone off the rails?
Well, yeah.
The future is kind of.
I think he put a typo in here, but he sent me a quote from inside Disney from this book. The Marvels is only 88 minutes long. 88 minutes long. We need to start quickly over. It's on thin ice. They are completely panicked over the film and are looking to get Iron Man and Captain America back if they can. But it's too late. What are you going to get? You're going to get Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. back in their mocap suits for one more movie, and you think that turns things around? No. You still have all those shit characters you introduced, and you got rid of all the main characters, and the ones that are still technically alive, you've completely diminished, like Thor.
Apparently Thor, they did a TV spot teaser for the Marvels. Thor is in the spot. They are desperate. Do you remember when the Shang-Chi trailers were out, when the film was coming out, and they basically used a montage of heroes that we knew and said, your new favorite Avenger? That's how they promoted it, right? Because the Avengers, if you look at the box office for all the Marvel films, the highest box office are all the Avengers movies, right? They're team ups. So it makes sense that they would all be the most popular films. They are the biggest box office of all the Marvel films, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So teasing it, they're using that to sell it, because I didn't know. So the Marvels was 88 minutes. I think the final running time is now an hour 45. So it's 105 minutes. Is at least what, it is the version that's coming to theaters.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know if that was changed since the book was released or not, but
right. So the book, maybe there was a stage at which the film was 88 minutes, so they needed to pad it somehow to get it to an hour 45, but it's technically the shortest of any Marvel movie ever made.
And the book is mainly about the early phases and stuff with Edgar Wright and all the drama behind that. So it's all the stuff we didn't hear from the early phases that kind of led to this. I don't know when the cutoff date was. I would say just there's a lot of videos you can watch. Critical Drinker, yours truly. We did talk to some people, and we like that Daredevil article when it broke down like how they make Disney Plus series. I've known that for a year and a half because and I've been talking to you guys about it as much as I could, but they're produced. They're not directed. They're not really written. They fix everything in post. They fly by the seat of their pants. They have no real fucking plan. And dude, this happens at Lucasfilm too. Solo, 70 to 90% of a film was made. And they fired the directors who went on to win Academy Awards into the Spider-Verse and stuff. So this is the Disney way. This is the Disney way. It's not just the Marvel way. It's the Disney way. But there'll be more details about it.
It seems the Disney way is really, from everything I've heard, is just to micromanage everything.
Yeah.
And when you micromanage, that is a huge turnoff to an artist who wants some freedom to explore, maybe go down some roads that don't pay off, and then, fix things. That's fine. That happens. But micromanaging seems to be the way. Bless you, X-Ray Girl. I saw yeah. I thought you were going to say Daddy Chill. Anyways, so.
Daddy Chill.
You sound just like that clip.
Daddy
Anyways.
Chill.
Micromanaging, and also they don't pay all that well. Disney does not have a good reputation for paying talent. They don't. So you're not going to attract the best, and I think a lot of it, they use their brand as a justification for why they're not paying all that well. Well, you're making a Marvel movie, you're directing a Disney film, right? And they can underpay. Although when you see the reports of these budgets, it's insane.
Oh, it's absolutely insane.
And unsustainable.
Completely. They've priced themselves out of the market. And yes, you could probably make, you know what? You don't need to have all your Avengers fighting a giant beam going up into the sky. You make a street level superhero, $70 million, make it an action movie. Maybe occasionally make a rated R movie. But we're at Disney now where, the Punisher can't use guns in the comics. It's freaking lame. It's just lame. And now they shit-canned 8 filmed episodes of a series that they spent probably $100 million on at least by then, right? And they're going to start from scratch, which pushes this series way. They got to write it over again. They have to find another director and another writer, and then the actors have to come back from strikes, and then their schedules have to match, and then they start production. So the production for Daredevil Born Again will not start for a year minimum. So that puts it out 2 years based on post-production. They're going to do 18 episodes. I bet you that changes. I bet you it gets brought down to like 8 or 10. But initially, it was supposed to be 18 episodes for a first season.
God, I you know what? We're going to see Ironheart before we see Daredevil at this stage. If Ironheart even happens, I feel like now there is there's now an acknowledgement on their part based on everything that they've been doing that they've gone down the wrong road. I mean, you could see it. It was right there. Because I remember, seeing Black Widow and just thinking, what the hell is this? Was Black Widow the first one, or was it like Shang-Chi? I forget the order in which those were released.
Black Widow
was first.
First.
Where they have Harvey Weinstein is basically the villain of that. And it was so obvious.
I think that with Disney Plus series, it was WandaVision was the first thing.
Right.
And then Black Widow, then Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then
Shang-Chi,
Loki, and then Shang-Chi. I've called him Shang-Chi. I'm just going to call him that from now. And the Eternals. There was something else in there too. What if? Yeah, not a good year. Not a good year.
Yeah.
We're going to get the soups.
Let's do it.
This is the, like Zoolander, this is the Ugoogly of Marvel, Disney Marvel, and Disney Star Wars. SJ Almighty has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for $50. I almost hit the wrong button. Woo! 50. Real quick,
Beardo.
good news. You guys want some good news? World's going to shit.
Yeah, I want some good
World's
news.
going to shit. Please pull up the article of the good news. We got some great news in the last 48 hours. Our good friend, the Uber Geek, has made a video on this very subject. Go check him out. The Uber Geek. Clarkson's Farm has wrapped filming series 3. Still got a ways to go. But within this article, Jeremy Clarkson's girlfriend, it's kind of weird. I had this problem with my my late father-in-law. Had a girlfriend. It's so weird saying that to like a 65-year-old, but whatever. That's life. Right, Chris?
Yeah, for sure.
His girlfriend, Lisa Logan, said that there's going to be a season 4. There's going to be a season 4. She shared the exciting news. It was put on Instagram. If you've not seen Clarkson's Farm, it's like innocent hilarity. And there's it's beautiful shots of the English countryside. You also learn about the insane and incompetent and petty British bureaucracy and how hard it is to farm. You know, this farming's kind of important. We kind of need to eat. And how insane you have to be a farmer in the UK right now. And I think it's brought a lot of awareness to it, but it's mostly just a funny, innocent show where this bumbling Englishman who's a host of one of the greatest shows ever, Top Gear and now Grand Tour, who reviews cars for a living, decides that, hey, I'm gonna buy a farm and start it, and I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm gonna learn on the job, and it's hilarious. It's a great show. It's by far Amazon's most popular show. More popular than the Rings of Power or Wheel of Time or anything else. And there were rumors that like he was sacked after his very truthful comments of Meghan Markle. Apparently that's not the case anymore. Apparently that's not the case. We're also getting another Grand Tour episode. They wrap filming on that. That I think that comes out maybe by the end of the year, early next year, which is great. I'm a huge, like when Clarkson was on Top Gear, huge Top Gear fan. And I'm not a gearhead. I did work in the car industry for many, many, many years as a parts professional. But freaking love that show. Love that show. So Grand Tour is coming. Clarkson's Farm Season 3 is coming. So there's a little bit to look forward to. Okay. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's fucking great. Kevin, I got my wife is like a massive Clarkson. I'm like, you got to watch this show. And she is like now its biggest fan. And one of the biggest, one of the most, like when I went to the UK, I got to go there, which was fucking brilliant. So it was just so cool. We had lunch there. We were in their little cafe in their store. And it was beautiful country. It was great to be there. We were there with Mr. Pork Chop.
Mm-hmm. And we left our signatures there too.
We did. So if you go to the cafe, if you go to the shop, there's a little cafe in the back that will sell you some, biscuits and whatever the fucking coffee. If you look at, there's a big open area. So if you're looking out the open, I don't know what direction is. If you go to the right, I have a signature there. Who else signed? Did Mr. Pork Chop sign?
Yeah, myself and Shad.
That's
yes.
great.
Yes. So look for our signatures if you're ever there. We sign the wall. Can I buy your coffee, then brew it, and then resell it to customers? Says Kevin Hunts for $50. Yeah? Yes.
There should be a coffee shop with your coffee.
A Geek Grind coffee shop, a Nerdrotic coffee shop.
Yeah.
That sounds like work, X-Ray Girl. Maybe. You never know. You never know. Let's get the book done first as far as projects go.
You got a lot on your plate right now.
Yeah. Luke Smart for 100 Canadian pesos. Hell.
Wow.
Here's my savings from canceling Disney Plus after they butchered Obi-Wan. So they're still butchering Star Wars. They're butchering an exhumed corpse. That's the best description of it. Yes, they are. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I heard Luke went dark side. Han, Leia had 2 children. Were Jedi and Lobaka. Anything would have been better. Kevin Hunts for $50. Not making it. Just flat. Star Wars in the long run for Disney would have been more profitable in the long run over, let's say 20 years if they just hadn't made anything and just made toys.
Well, if you think about it, because I know there's a lot of criticism, like this regurgitation of the rewriting Ripley article
and games
and the stupid series of tweets from that moron. I think part of it is that we grew up watching the original trilogy, and we created adventures with Han, Luke, Leia, Lando, R2-D2, C-3PO, adventures in our heads. And by playing with toys, nobody collected Star Wars toys when they came out. You played with them. You took them out of the box and you played with them. And your friends had different ones, and you'd have ones, and you get together. And I remember I had my Star Wars toys were all dirty from sitting out in the rain or sitting in a sandbox. And in our mind's eye, we created the further adventures of Han, Luke, and Leia. That, of course, manifested also in things like the Marvel comics and in a lot of the novels, right? So we've already seen these incredible adventures in our heads. And then what we got in the sequel trilogy was the introduction of a bunch of new characters that we probably would have grown to like, but we needed to have that trilogy, the Star Wars sequel trilogy we never got. The final fates of Han, Luke, and Leia. And if you think about it, if you're a kid who had just watched Return of the Jedi, this happy ending, don't watch the rest of the movies. Think about it. Do not watch the rest of the movies. To see that, like, Han Solo is, you want to know what's going to happen? Yeah, Han Solo gets murdered by his son who goes to the dark side. By the way, Luke, out of just shame over his failure to create a Jedi Academy, he just F's off to a water planet, which is ironic. He grew up on a desert planet. Ha ha, right? That's ridiculous. And then Leia, of course, she went back to her old job. Okay. As
after the divorce.
After the space
and so
divorce.
did Han. Yeah, Han went back to smuggling.
They just went to their bad old jobs. And so I feel the reason why the discussion of that resonates with people, because you look at the views. I mean, look on the Film Threat YouTube channel, we did an entire trial. It might be some of our most popular videos were about this Star Wars Critics Court trial that we did. But I think the reason it resonates with people is it's a form of therapy, because we were robbed of something. We were robbed of when Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher was alive, and Mark Hamill, whatever you think of Mark Hamill, he's an actor. He'll do his job. Harrison Ford, they had all 3 of them, and they decided to tell that story. It's disgusting. And the fact that they can't admit, I want to know, I have one question for anyone that works at Lucasfilm. If you find someone who works at Lucasfilm, you're at a panel, you're at Star Wars Celebration, and they open it up for questions, ask one question. Why were Han, Luke, and Leia not reunited in the Star Wars sequels? I want to know what was behind that decision, because that was a choice. And it should have been more than a moment. It should have been an adventure. I think Picard season 3, Gary, we've discussed it. That's the right way to honor the legacy, introduce new characters that you'll also grow to love, right? But that was the right way of doing it. And I really feel it's kind of a form of therapy, of this thing in our heads that, from being a fan of the original Star Wars trilogy for so long, it's disheartening. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but this is why I feel that this conversation is ongoing, because in a way it's we're kind of working it out. Like, why didn't we get that? Why didn't we? And have you seen, there's this video, I don't know if you've seen this, Gary, I'll dig it up for you. The video where someone did an AI, and they used AI to replicate Mark Hamill's voice. And it's like these 20, 30-minute videos that tell the story of episodes 7, 8, and 9. What could have been a new trilogy. Have you seen it, or are you aware of it?
No, I am aware of the voice of God, Echo Chamberlain. Was it him?
I don't know.
Who did C-3PO talking about the death of Star Wars?
No, I don't know that video.
I want to get the. I'm pretty sure that was him, but hang on.
All right, let's take a look.
Let's see.
But let me find this. I'm gonna look on YouTube for a second. I'm gonna find this link for you. And there's 3 videos, and it uses AI.
Echo Chamberlain, The Death of Star Wars, narrated by C-3PO.
Oh my God!
Watch that video. Watch that video. Echo Chamberlain's great, by the way. Real quick, show this meme that I popped in there, X-Ray Girl, because is it a meme, or is it is it just the future?
Oh, let's see. Oh my God. That's great.
I think it's the future. I just think that's straight up.
Yeah.
You can't even meme. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. It's so, I don't know. It's just so, Hollywood is just so predictable now, right?
Yep.
That's why I think that announcement from the Daily Wire is really interesting. I mean, they're definitely trolling with the Brett Cooper
They are.
Snow White. It's trolling. It's probably not going to be. Is it going to be a feature film? I don't think so.
Who knows?
It's who knows. But they did a little teaser with her. I mean, she looks like, she kind of looks like Snow White. I mean, she kind of has a Disney face.
Yeah, somebody else needs to do her hair though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hair needs to be different. But whatever. They did a little teaser. I saw the teaser for look, it's not for me, those shows, and I don't have young children. But what a great idea. And I heard some other people talking about it from Daily Wire. They're not even conservative shows. They're just not political. They're just
which is a smart
wholesome
move.
Lessons about friendship and family and love and simple things. It's just not the BS.
Right.
Although I don't know why they should actually, if they really wanted to troll, they should make the evil queen and Snow White a drag queen.
Oh, they will. That's going to happen.
No, I'm saying like the Daily Wire should do that.
Oh, okay. That would be funny. That would be funny. That would be funny.
I mean, it makes sense. I guess.
Well, it would. Thematically, there would be a reason for the resentment. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Magnum Norse for $50.
50.
Paige Sporanic is bottom right. Can you click on that, please?
Oh, that was when we were on the Star Wars article, and she had like a 2024 calendar announced. I can show you.
I don't know who that is. Who are we
she's
talking about?
This one right here.
Oh, who is she?
I don't know.
What does she do?
Make
You
sexy
can click
calendars?
on that on your own. Thank you for the $50. I guess we should click on it, but I don't know who that is. It's just a hottie, right?
Golf influencer.
She's a golf influencer. Well, I can see why she's influential. Okay. Magnum Norse, I can definitely see. You want to pull up one picture from her account? Can we?
This should be fine. I don't know. They don't have any percentages for boobs on YouTube, right?
No. All right. Yeah. All right.
There you go, Magnum. You're
There you
welcome.
go. I see where that golf plays into that somehow. Okay.
She'll tell you where the ball goes. Anyways.
Yeah. She's hot. 10 out of 10, buddy. Darius White for $20 says, "Hail, we dislike the others that which we despise in ourselves because you have developed an organic following. The sycophantic shills project their warped perspectives onto anyone who disagrees with their own mentally ill point of view." Yeah, it's kind of it's an evolution. It's an evolution of like what's happened to film talk. Well, I wasn't in film talk in the early days. I don't know what it was like. But if it was just like, "Zowie, can't wait for the next Spider-Man movie. Everything's great." That's fine when everything was great. But it's not now. It's far from great. And it's genre. We're having a genre problem that's affecting it all. This should have been our time, but all times come to an end. And I think the era of the nerd is coming to, we just had a biopic almost make $1 billion. Killers of the Flower Moon, we'll see how it does. A lot of people like it. We'll see how it does.
I've seen it. It's phenomenal. It's excellent. I mean, it's Scorsese prime form. It's 3.5 hours, but doesn't feel like it. I'm a guy that I can't see a movie without going to the bathroom at least once or twice. I didn't go.
It was a thank you.
And it's not like, it's weird because seeing Killers of the Flower Moon, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen a real movie in a long time. You know what I mean? Like, not a like kids or not like a dumb thing.
Yeah.
And I've been watching for the last like month or so, more than that, I've been watching a lot of horror films, seeing a lot of horror films, and they're fine. I like horror films. I like horror comedies. I mean, you know, it's popcorn movies. I mean, this is a real film
And we'll
about a
see
real event.
We'll see how it does because, quite frankly, it's dark times for Hollywood. You're gonna start the financial repercussions of like stacking all your fucking movies in June. Like they could have spread that out throughout the year, and they stacked them all in June for some reason. I think it was because they knew there was going to be a strike, but and they knew long out. Like these contracts come up around the same time.
Right.
That's just my theory. Could be wrong. It's a film theory, but now we're gonna have a year of next to nothing. There'll be Dune 2 will come out.
Yeah, I mean, they may or may not be able to promote it. But yeah, no, Killers of the Flower Moon. I'll talk about it on Friday after Alan has seen it. I want to hear his opinion, but and we'll get into it. But it is just, and the trailers I think are a bit deceptive about the film,
like what it's about. It's a historical event, so
it's kind of the formation of the FBI. Part of the reason that the FBI was created was because of the crimes that were committed. But I mean, I don't know. The FBI these days.
The FBI now wants to just commit their own crimes.
Yeah, exactly. And then solve them.
Cheesy Tarian for $20. If everyone is a cameraman during this upcoming World War III, will anybody get hurt?
100%. They're already getting hurt. I mean,
already getting hurt.
You look at, that a lot of things are being filmed, or, people that are shooting the filming of stuff going on are, becoming part of it. But I was really skeptical of the citizen journalism, but what I actually love on Twitter, I trust Twitter because you see the community notes. Something can get debunked pretty quickly by community notes, and the comments give me faith in humanity. Whenever I see someone like a Gavin Newsom tweet something stupid, which is almost every time he tweets something, and then you see the comments, I'm like, oh wow, there's still sane Californians that exist, calling him out on BS. So I'm convinced that this is a new way to source news. Is you can get an accepted view from a mainstream media outlet, and you can see something on Twitter, and very quickly you can come to your own conclusion based on what you see with your own eyes, and the comments being made can debunk or back up an event that you're seeing. So we're seeing a lot of stuff reported where there's a narrative that goes out that's one way, and then that narrative is debunked, and in a short amount of time, and sometimes the headlines aren't even corrected. Anyway, sorry to go down the dark path of news. I didn't want to do that, but Gary, I did put in the private chat the link to, it's a series of 3 videos. They're under 30 minutes each. It's using AI generated art, Mark Hamill's voice, telling a completely different Star Wars sequel story that would have involved continuing adventures of Han, Luke, and Leia. And I'm looking at it. Look, it's not like the greatest thing ever, but I'm like, oh, this is better than what they made.
It probably is.
It's
without a doubt.
Better than what they made. It's, even if you just scrub through some of the artwork, it's incredible. What if The Force Awakens was awesome? And it should, look at this, a smiling Luke Skywalker, and it's, I mean, you look at this, it's AR.
Wait, go back. What was that combined
combined X-Wing and TIE Fighter? There's like some cool designs.
Stop right there. Ship.
That's cool. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting, so it's all AI art, Mark Hamill's AI generated voice telling a story. I don't know the story behind it, but I know that Star Wars Theory actually did a reaction where he watched it and he kind of liked it.
Okay.
He seemed to like it.
We will check it out, but we're running short on time. So
yeah. I just wanted to and the other two also exist that are connected, so you'll be able to find it.
Cool. Kevin Hunts for $50. I heard Victoria's Secret is going back to fit hot models like Ivanka Trump. I might start jerking off again. Fat models with removed breasts wasn't doing it for me. Okay. Well, it might have been good that you weren't, but that's okay. Gotta do it once in a while. Good for the prostate, I hear. Thank you, Kevin Hunts. Cord Tot post-production for $50. 50. We want to thank you all for what you do. I spent 10 years in LA. It was great for a while, and I was happy. Post-2020, it got so politically hostile that I left. Missed the old days, but the fellowship brings much comfort to this movie fan. Y'all rock. You rock. Yeah. LA was fun at one time. It was fun.
Well, it's not fun anymore.
Nope.
It's not fun anymore. The town shuts down at 10 p.m. because people are too afraid to go out at night, and they're justified in thinking that. Downtown is a ghost town, except for certain areas, the area around the Staples Center, which I think was renamed recently. But that little area they call LA Live is, there's stuff happening there, but it's a dead city. And it's unfortunate. Fortunately, I live in Pasadena, so I'm removed from it. And there are other areas surrounding Los Angeles that are worthwhile, but I don't like paying way too much for everything. It's certainly made me eat out less, although I know how to cook a mean steak, so I'm good there.
When are you going to make steak for me?
Yeah, well, come on over.
I am.
Like cast iron.
This week.
Wait, aren't you? Yeah, that's right. You're going to be.
When are you getting in? Over.
When are you getting here?
I'm getting there at
Thursday.
Thursday at 3:30ish, Burbank Airport.
Oh, okay. Shoot, I'm going to be at my movie meetup. You can meet us at the Yard House.
Okay, I'll meet you at the Yard House.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it. Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Probably not.
I just thought of that after
I'll
those.
To figure out which Yard House, but no, we'll meet there.
We will discuss.
We'll discuss with the group, and I'll let you know when we land.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Because I'm heading out to Palm Springs like the next day. So
sweet. I think I'm doing Drinker that day.
Ooh.
On Thursday.
Well, then you'll by the time I know that's 2 hours.
It should be over because I think it starts at 1 Pacific for me.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So I think it'll be over by the time you land.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. Cool.
But I'm packing tonight. Bringing my camera gear. Might have to do a hotel video again. We'll see.
Oh man. Well, how are you gonna do FNT? How are you gonna do FNT
from Palm Springs?
Oh, there you go. Oh, so you're like flying. You're only staying like the night, and then you're out.
Night. Well, I mean, I can stay the next day a little bit in the morning. We can do some breakfast, or if you want to do that.
Chris makes a good breakfast. I hear.
Yeah.
According to Dad.
I get good Yelp reviews. No, I got to do my show at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Okay. Well, we'll talk.
We'll talk offline.
Yeah, because it's only a little drive to Palm Springs, and there's an evening thing I think we're going to, so we might have time.
Okay, we'll discuss.
Well, no, probably wouldn't. You know what? No, because I forgot. FNT starts at like 1.
Yeah, you're gonna.
I'm gonna have to get out there. Never mind.
Well, yeah, you're gonna.
We're gonna install that live.
In the morning.
Yeah, we're gonna have to leave first thing in the morning and have it ready to go, or I'm gonna have to do it from LA, which I don't want to do.
Right.
Which I'd rather not do.
Yeah, you'll beat traffic if you go early. Better.
Yep. So Crunchy Beaver for $50. 50.
Crunchy Beaver.
I've so tuned out of anything entertainment since football season started. I'm a degenerate sports gambler until March Madness ends. I see nothing has changed in 6 weeks. Keep fighting the good fight and doing God's work. Hail to the fellowship. Hail to you. Yeah, it's one of there's peaks and valleys, man, and it's just one of the lulls. There's nothing going on right now. There's just not a lot going on. If the strike ends, I think that would be interesting, but there is no end in sight. None. They're not even talking. So when they walked away, that was their heavy negotiation with like all the bigwigs were there, and they were expecting to get something done, and then the SAGs dropped that 57 cent per subscriber thing, fair or not, whatever. They dropped it like in that negotiation. And they're like, whoa, you can't do that. You got to walk, and then you just got to walk away. That's part of the negotiation. That's why unions suck. They're keeping actors from working right now. You're completely, it's not COVID. It's not shut down. They're not forcing jabs on you. You can, which is something you should have struck. That's what you should have. That's what your union was there for. Forcing members to take something they didn't want to take, and you didn't strike over that. I know everybody should have walked out in solidarity over that, whether you wanted it or not, to protect your fellow worker. So fuck y'all. You're getting what you deserve. And it's and now they're trying to get 57 cents levied per subscriber, I'm guessing for every streamer. So I don't know. Let's add every streamer and every subscriber, 50 cents on that. That's billions of dollars, $1 billion that they're going to pay out on streamers that aren't making money. Good luck with that. And they'll probably get something and they're going to walk away going, we won. And then there'll be half the projects out there there would have been if you hadn't struck.
Well, no matter what happens, they'll position it as a win.
Yeah.
That's just, that's just the way things are done. But yeah, I don't have a lot of faith. And I think streaming, I think you're going to see a consolidation of the streamers.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming. It's coming.
I think Paramount Plus is going to pull the plug. I think they're just going to be like Prodigy's going over to Netflix. I think that is your first sign that we'll just make stuff and then we'll license it out like we used to. Not everybody should. Hey, you tried it. Not everybody's going to have a streamer. This is pretty normal. And it's going to be down to like 4 or 5 big ones. And then there might be a few little ones. But like Peacock is all streaming viewing is down, including Disney. And they worded it in an article I read yesterday like it's only slightly down. But that was during a period when Ahsoka came out, Little Mermaid, and Elementals. So they had new product and it went down still.
Do you think part of it is like, I canceled my Disney Plus because I got this preferential deal because I got some D23 deal. I'm a D23 member, which it's free to do that. But it like the price doubled. I think it was paying like $4 a month. And then they said, hey, to renew for a year, it was like $149. And I said, nope.
Yeah, I think a lot of they did raise the prices just during a strike when there's no real content. It's so retarded. God. I
mean, I look, all the Disney movies and Marvel movies that I want, I already own them on Blu-ray. I don't need Disney Plus.
Dude, yeah.
The new programming is nothing I care about.
The back catalog is shit. I mean, the only thing I would give a crap about is Daredevil, which I have physical copies of. Right. I guess, maybe I'd go, try to get the 4K copies somehow, but they're just upscaled, right? They're just upscaled. They're not true 4K anyway. But yeah, their back catalog is shit. Where Max, doesn't have because it doesn't have the Marvel. Max has a better catalog than anybody.
Yeah, Max, I really like. Between Max and I like Netflix because they have like Indian and Korean horror films, a lot of like, global stuff, in addition to things like One Piece. So, and I get it cheap through my T-Mobile, whatever. I get some deal. So, but like all these other little side services, I don't know. And every once in a while I will subscribe to a thing like Trauma Now or Full Moon Entertainment because they have like some super cheap deal that's like $5. And there's so much weird stuff. Like I'll just subscribe to that for a month or two and check it out. Or even Shudder. Shudder's really
pretty cool. Shudder can be
Shudder's cool.
Yeah.
It can be cool.
But like on Max, it's the holiday season. So you could fire up a Harry Potter movie and a Lord of the Rings movie on the same streaming service. It's kind of a big deal.
And the DC stuff and the DC animated stuff, which is very good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that trumps Marvel and Star Wars right now, to be honest with you. And then there's the buildup. Max is doing a Harry Potter series. They're doing a Harry Potter series. That's crazy.
We'll see about that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know about it. I think
I don't know about it
I'll be
either, but
sad if it sucks.
if it sucks, but it would be nice to see like the books adapted properly and but we know the chances of that are slim to none. Even though JK's going to be there, we'll see. JK's JK, but she does believe a woman is a woman. Steve Watson for 25 British pounds. Someone else should do her hair. You know her hairdresser. I do. Yeah, Melissa would have done a better job. Hollywood doesn't get the best hairdressers unless you're a big star, like you're Taylor Swift. Then yes, you have your own personal hairstylist on call. But Hollywood does not get the work on productions. Those aren't the best of the best because that would be a major pay cut for the best of the best. That's why they own their own salons and they do Silicon Valley and billion-dollar clients. So Melissa would have done a better job easily, including not pulling her hair back. That just wasn't flattering. And she's a pretty girl. Yeah. Magnum Norris for $20. It would have been funny. It would have been funny at the time. Now I look like a creepo when he's talking about click.
Paige Saranac. Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, you don't. She was 10 out of 10, bro. Hot. You're just being a dude. It's not a creepo. She made the calendar. It's not like you're taking a picture of her in her room or something. That's creepo. But if somebody wants to put out a calendar, there you go.
Just putting it out there.
That's on her. That's on Kurt. Chris, you got to go.
Yeah. Like, are we wrapping up?
Well, I got a lot of super chats to get through. I'm going to get through them.
Oh, but I'll hang out. I'm hanging out
for a little while. Okay.
Yeah, I'm hanging out, man.
I'm having a good time. Y'all having a good time out there? Even the hate watchers, you having a good time?
Yeah.
I hope so. Hope you're
Hail
doing
chat.
well.
Hail to the chat.
Hail to the chat.
Hail to the chat. Members of the 199.
TIS, or is this TIS or T1S?
T1S.
T1S. You never know. I got to check. For $10, thank you. Couldn't believe my eyes when X-Ray Girl heartlessly devoured her poor little gnome friend in Little Nightmares. I don't know how she sleeps at night. Kidding, of course. Love y'all. Hail to the Nooner. Oh, she sleeps great.
Yeah.
Wait, what is this a reference to?
So in the game Little Nightmares, you end up eating I considered the little gnome my friend because there's this little cinematic where you hold them and it's like cute little music, and then I ate him.
Wow, like devoured, like murdered it?
Yeah, murdered, ate him. And he had a sausage in his hand, so it was like a literal food sausage. Yeah.
Asian.
Could have eaten the sausage.
I could have eaten the sausage. I usually do. I'm kidding.
Wow, that's going to get clipped.
Yeah.
Where's the Legion of Memers when you need them?
Right.
Look at this.
Wearing the shirt. Representing.
Nice.
Representing. I got one of those too.
Yeah.
That's great.
For Run Guns for $5. Still waiting on Gary's Cyberpunk Edge Runners review, and you might be waiting for a while. Although, is there anything to review coming up? I watched the first episode of The Fall of the House of Usher. I didn't hate it. I was intrigued.
I've talked to a couple of people who've seen it. You say it's very good. I think it all dropped last week. Yeah. I want to see that. I want to see.
There is a suspicious number of gay couples in it.
Oh, God.
But it is billionaires with a billionaire with a lot of children. They get a little hedonistic, but it's very. I think the best description I saw on Twitter, which was I can't remember the account. I'm sorry. Intellectual Dork Web, I think. Intellectual Dork Web.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She said that it feels a little like Succession with spooky ghosts. And yes, that's exactly how it feels.
Oh, that sounds good, actually.
Yeah, it's like a supernatural Succession. I mean, the only part I laughed out loud is when he's sitting there talking to the cop and he goes, I didn't see your husband at the trial. I'm like, oh, God, what?
Oh, God.
I'm like, that's the third one. But otherwise, it's Flanagan, so I know people like Mahler loves him. I liked one of his shows. Dad Cast with Chris was great. Gary, when's your turn to disseminate some wisdom? Says Eaton. Eaton ass, but it's KNS. So
yeah,
Eaton Canas for $5. But he's saying eating ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna do Dadcast eventually, right?
Oh yes.
Eventually. Gary's just a very busy guy. I want to get him on when he has a free moment, and he just seems so busy lately. But it will happen when it happens.
Pissy or busy? Both. I'm both. No.
I don't know about kissy.
Pissy. Pissy.
Oh, pissy.
Pissy.
Oh no, busy.
No,
not
just
pissy.
busy. Okay.
Busy.
Well, we went to the UK, had to make up for some time, and then now it's just kind of back to normal now. The Quiet Lion for $9.99. This one is for both Chris and Gary. If you were magically given Kevin Feige or Kathleen Kennedy's positions of power, what is the first movie project you would greenlight to try to save the franchises? I think we both have the same answer. So Marvel,
that's easy. Do a period piece, Fantastic Four, and a period piece X-Men. Set it in the early 60s, sort of JFK Camelot era, like around then. So you'd have like people wear, that JFK popularized not wearing a hat. That previous to that, everyone wore hats.
Yep.
And then JFK's like, I'm not a hat guy. And then people stopped wearing hats.
They need to bring that back though.
Yeah, I like those hats back in that era. You saw like Reed Richards would wear that hat every once in a while.
Star Wars, I would vault it for 10 years. Vault it completely. You could still make games based on the original trilogy or the prequels with no variation of George Lucas's canon. If you want to make like a shooter where you're running around or whatever, I'm just in the fucking Clone Wars or something like that, fine. But you do not deviate from George's canon. You vault this bitch for 10 years, and then for that entire 10 years, you work on a strategy with George Lucas, where to take it. And I would erase absolutely everything after. I mean, I'm giving Kathleen Kennedy type powers, right? So I'm going to run with them. I erase everything post Return of the Jedi. I reinstate the EU.
Yeah.
Those are my first actions. And then we plan with George while he's still here what he wants to do. And then all that other shit that was made, I don't care whose ego I bruise. I don't give a fuck. I don't even put it, I vault that shit too. I vault it. It could be in a subcategory of a subcategory on Disney Plus. Never sees the light of day. No physical media, no comics, no books based on any of that shit. Oh, and I'd fire the story group with extreme prejudice.
I think vaulting it is really smart. I just don't know how you save it. The story that would have been the most interesting to fans is you're not able to tell a Han, Luke, and Leia story unless you recast those actors.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how you do that.
Well, and the thing is, Chris, the solution has been like, just take it 100 years in the future and go on from there. And I'm like, okay, I guess. But at that point, you're just making a new franchise. Why bother with Star Wars? Why not just make something original? Because you're going to have to build. So you have the base of lightsabers. But like, Star Wars is Han, Luke, and Leia.
Yeah.
And Anakin and Darth Vader. That's what it is.
And Star Trek is, Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and the rest. What did
Star Trek, I think, pulled off the Next Generation and doing stuff.
Yes.
Something that Star Wars has not done. But
yes.
I think you'd have a better chance at pulling off a better Star Trek than Star Wars. The problem is Star Wars has a higher profit margin, has a higher end because it's more popular to the normies. But now that like you've shit that you've shit the bed and turned it into niche. Star Trek has always been niche. So that's why it has a chance to come back someday. Doctor Who, we're about to find out.
Oh my
We're
God.
about to find out. We are weeks away. They have not announced there's 3 specials coming out in November. They have not announced what days they're coming. What they have said though is that we are not getting a special on the day of the anniversary, which makes no fucking sense at all. So it tells me that they're probably going to air them on Saturday or Sunday. But they have not that I know, unless that happened today, chat, let me know. But they have not announced the premiere dates. I think they might not be in November. There might be a chance that they lead right into a Christmas special that's got Shooty Gatwa in it. So we'll see. We're about to find out. Mob49 on the Streamlabs side for $3 says, Chris, you got to check out Don't Hike Alone 2. Insanely well shot, somewhat well acted. Fan film of Friday the 13th has Tommy from number 6 in it.
Oh, love that, because the Friday the 13th franchise is just caught up in legal hullabaloo, which is why we haven't seen a reboot of Friday the 13th. So that might be a good thing when you look at some of these modern reboots.
Magnum Norse for $5 says, Gary has a long corn date. Sorry, Al Gore. I cannot confirm nor deny.
Oh, no.
Eric K for $1.99 for a good time called Gary and Chris. This is true.
Hey,
This
Eric.
is true. We are a good time.
There we go.
Chris will take you to the 35er in Pasadena where there's a bunch of Dodgers shit. And yeah. So I got to sit around all that Dodgers shit in there, but and drink, Red Bulls, but it's fine.
Well, they're not even. Well, I mean, they're not in it; they're out. So I don't know. I sort of lost interest. I'll watch some of the World Series, but see who gets there.
I don't care. No Padres. I don't care. I hope Bochy. How the Rangers doing? I didn't check.
I haven't. I
want Bochy to win. There you go.
All I know is the Lions are doing well. That's all I care about.
Wow, that's crazy. Hail. Been an interesting morning. Wife got rear-ended on her way back to work. By who? She's fine, thankfully. I thought there was a joke coming there. I'm glad she's okay. I will see you crazies in November. Gary, does anyone who's going need help getting there? Can I help? Yes, there was somebody. Was it a Knockmamon who said he couldn't get a ride? If you're out there, Knockmamon, I think it was a Knockmamon. The Smeegs is offering a ride. There you go. Bald. I'm gonna sneeze. Hang on.
Bless you. Jay's long awkward silence has gifted a membership for $5.
Woo! That's good. That's good. Bald Eagle 1787. Thank you, Jay's long awkward silence. I did an impression on my square up of a Jay live stream. I thought it was very accurate.
Oh, like you were talking about Jay
Drunk 3PO. When you go into a Drunk 3PO live stream, like how many times have you got into a long silent pause where he's just all
it's like he's watching his own show.
Yeah.
I love Jay. He's my favorite.
But he's reading the chat quietly to himself.
Right, like just reading.
Live stream.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I sent him I was listening to Tuesday night's main event. So I like to multitask. I was washing my car, listening to main event, and Drunk 3PO opened. I sent him a little gift, and it was like a card and like just something. I like to send like notes to people and stuff. I've sent you stuff. And I sent him a patch that it's basically Robert Downey Jr.'s character from why am I spacing on the movie? Because I've had kids and my brain is whatever. Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
So it's his character. I got you one too, Gary. And it says, never go full retard.
Never go full retard.
And he opened it and then he showed it. And I think he was a little embarrassed. Like I said, I found this. I said, it reminds me of you.
Jay,
anyway.
Unsolicited advice. Read the chat out loud that you're reading in your head. Okay? It helps fill that dead air. Bald Eagle 1778. Have you heard that Disney is trying to acquire EA? Didn't they? Oh, yeah. Because
Electronic Arts?
Yeah, Microsoft just got Activision, right? I foresee another lawsuit from investors considering that Disney has nothing left to use as collateral. I'm wondering how that's even going to happen. I don't think it can. I mean, you have to talk to the financial analysts about that, but I just don't think it can. I don't think Disney's got any liquid left to buy jack shit. And they decided to get into a fucking lawsuit with a state that's provided them so much for so long. And they got one little pissing match over one bill that's completely anti-family. Not a good plan. Thoughts on fitness with Nigel. It says Nigel. I thought it almost said Nigel for $4.99. Gary, Chris, I think you should state your case for the FF Retro movie in a separate stream. You struck a chord in last week's show. That's why it's important. Maybe we should. Maybe we should plot out our Fantastic Four movie. I think that'd be a good idea.
I mean, you do a trilogy and you build up to Galactus as, maybe it's the part one. There's so many great villains in the Fantastic Four universe. I mean, the Mole Man, Doctor Doom is probably the greatest. And you would definitely want to introduce Doctor Doom, but like accurate to the comics, not the way that they've tried to reimagine the character in any of the previous Fantastic Four, incarnations. But yeah, I mean, and then you build up to Galactus, right? Like maybe tease it like sort of hanging in the background as like a Thanos type of character.
And you all do it through the Fantastic Four. You reboot it and reintroduce the Marvel Universe in order.
Yeah, you do it in the 60s. You do it in the 60s.
And then you work your way up, and that's why it's different enough. It's more true to the source material, but
right.
it's also too late because now this is the reboot. Reboots usually come either many, many years after a project. The best thing to reboot is a project that had a good concept that just never got off the ground. Battlestar Galactica. The original Battlestar Galactica's concept, I still think it's ripe for a reboot. Yeah. I mean, it's a great concept. And I mean, the TV show version with aliens and stuff. I loved the reboot. I absolutely, it was a completely different show. So if you're going to reboot something that was a good concept, but man, that was just poor execution. That's what you reboot.
But what about all the misogyny against the gender swapped Starbuck? Remember that, Gary?
I remember that. I remember
that there was nothing and nobody cared.
I remember that people loved her. I remember that people.
Sackhoff was great.
So Starbuck was the most popular character in both shows.
Yeah,
once as a man and once as a woman. Just was.
Yeah.
There were people who were mad about it, but
really,
dude, before it came out, I'm like, you remember what Edward James Olmos said at Comic-Con, don't you? I was there. I heard it. If you like the old series, you're going to hate this one. I'm like, oh, fuck you.
Did he say that?
Yes, he did. And then a friend of mine, the special aired, and then a friend of mine burned me a copy on disc and said, dude, you have to see this. I'm like, I refuse. He's like, no, do it for me. I'm like, fine. So I watched it on my laptop, and I'm like, oh shit, this is great.
It's really good.
It's great.
And it was interesting. Edward James almost mentioned something that, how his voice is so raspy, and kind of effed up in the show. That was his take on it, was that water would be just a resource that was very valuable, and you wouldn't consume a lot of water. So his voice sounds like someone who needed to always drink some water because they didn't have a lot of water. So that was his take on it. That's how deeply he thought about it, which I think is really great. I like when actors.
I like that. First special, Bear McCreary did the music for the series, but the keyboardist from the original keyboardist from Oingo Boingo did the music for the movie special.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
there's some really amazing episodes of that.
Yep.
Show.
The premiere that was fucking awesome.
It was so good.
Are you alive? Resef the Cripple for $10. I work at a contingent worker management company that works with Disney. We have a weekly meeting with them basically on how they micromanage us micromanaging the part-time employees. So they micromanage you micromanaging somebody else. So it's micromanaging squared. That's awesome. Yeah, it's not surprising. That's when the corporation gets too big. That's when they just get too big and they get too filled with middle management who plan too many meetings that go fucking nowhere to justify their existence. And the people who do the actual work get completely forgotten about by these twats who fucking like project managers in Hollywood, dude. Chris, come on. Project managers.
Dude, I can't tell you. I cannot tell you how annoying these middle management jobs are, where they're literally someone who's doing a spreadsheet of a schedule, and just how annoying. And a lot of it, you're right, it's justifying their existence. They're justifying their job. They set up completely unnecessary meetings. And so everything I sort of learned in the corporate world about how things run, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not going to run things that way when I have a company to run. So
I don't recommend this, but if you get good enough at your job at something, I just stopped going to meetings. I just like I work the night shift. I am as a pre-mastering technician. The two other day pre-mastering technicians at Technicolor were the biggest fucking assholes on the planet, so they were impossible to work for. I was the nicer one to work for, although I hadn't been doing it as long as they are, but they were fucking assholes. They were also fucking each other, which was becoming a problem because they were both in relationships, but whatever. So I'm the night guy, so I'm like, nobody wants my job. Yeah. I'm not going to go to a fucking meeting. I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do, so I stopped going, and they didn't say anything.
I just find like a lot of those meetings are just to placate certain people's egos. And so you've got to like listen to their bad ideas and it's sort of pointless. And I don't know. I just never liked any sort of corporate work environment. Just always, I was just so annoyed with it.
The night people I worked with were great though. They were nice people. There was like 4 of us in the entire building. It was great. I'm a massive Expanded Universe fan, and I wish someone like me with the knowledge to come on and expound on all these fantastic and amazing stories the Star Wars Expanded Universe can tell and has told, says Sonny Covington for $15. They don't care about you, which is, I mean, looking back on it, that's your first biggest mistake. I remember reporting on it when I did the podcast, like, I'm like, it doesn't seem like a good way to endear yourself to fans, but whatever. They said that they wanted to be creatively free. That should have been the first sign of, oh, this is all going to go to shit. Eddie A for $4.99. Hey, everyone. My girlfriend is a big MCU fan, hates DC, and can't finish The Dark Knight. Break up with her. But for some reason, love The Flash. Should I dump her immediately? No, I'm just kidding. No,
I don't know.
No. You have no idea the crap my wife watches and loves. Okay. Hey, a Teen Wolf actor went after my take on that Loki and Mobius sitting out eating fucking pie and talking about their feelings. A bunch of people are like, what's wrong with this scene? You know, if 1/3 of the people who were bitching about it on Twitter actually watched the fucking show, maybe that'd be a difference. But I responded to him. He's like, what the fuck's wrong with it? It's a good scene. And I'm like, it's a good scene for a CW show or Teen Wolf.
Oh, no. Gary, that's amazing. Wow. Did they respond?
I don't know. I didn't care. But my wife loves Teen Wolf, though. That's like her fucking jam. She loves that show.
There you go.
Loves it.
That's cool.
But I said, hey, I'm going to go after an actor from Teen Wolf. Just wanted to let you know, hon. I know it's your favorite show, but I'm going to go after it. And it's true. That's what it is. It's a good scene for a CW show or some MTV fucking show, but that's the Marvel show. It's a Disney Marvel show. In Japan, a novel with several manga art pages is called a light novel. They are often the source material for manga and anime series. Oh, obscure artists for $5. Cheers.
Cheers.
I can't wait to tell you about it. We'll see if you're interested or not. You know, Kellraiser for $1.99, coining the phrase right here. It's a woke trope. Yes, I applaud that.
Yeah,
we are in the era of woke tropes.
Like when we saw the Frozen poster.
Yeah.
Like that, it's just like, oh, well, that's just like, that's why I can't wait for this Pandaverse thing to come out. I cannot wait. It's October 27th on my calendar. Cannot wait for that.
Dude,
it's going to be good.
Disparu showed me a fight scene from Wheel of Time season 1, which I did not watch.
Okay. Yeah.
And it is a woman like slaughtering like 9 guys with a sword. And I laughed my ass off because it literally had guys just walking into her sword. I'm like, does she have superpowers? Are they just dumb? Like, a woke trope. It's an intersectional trope. But we can call it woke, whatever you want to call it. Gunner,
Sure.
50 Norwegian krona. No, if you stop clapping for 2 seconds, you're a Yahtzee. Never stop clapping for Disney. Don't stop clapping. That comes from Red Letter Media. Roger Rubio for $2. Enjoy another slice of key lime pie on me. Oh.
The thing is this, after I've seen that, I really want some key lime pie.
I know there's
I've
some
never had
some
it.
key lime Kayla out there. I like you. I don't like key lime pie though. It's just
I like key lime.
I don't.
But that
apple pie, pumpkin pie,
Apple crumble.
pecan pie. Yeah. Cherry pie.
I'm salivating right now thinking about that.
Chat,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Snakes and funerals for $5. Hollywood can't compete with World War III. No, they can't. They
Oh my
cannot.
God.
God, like even when that stuff went out, I found myself going to news, to broadcast news. It was like for 10 minutes. And I'm like, all I noticed, this is why I stopped watching, Chris, because the last time I watched the network news was during the Vegas shooting. And I'm like, look at how much they're enjoying this. So I go back.
Yeah, it was creepy.
First time since then, look at how much they're enjoying this. Fuck all these people.
Yeah.
So I just, and I go on Twitter. I go on Twitter and you try to listen to both sides, multiple sides of a very complex issue that I'm not going to pretend I know anything about. And so it would be stupid for me to comment on it. And I said, you know what? I'll talk about it right after Matt Walsh and Tim Pool do 30-minute essays on how much they love One Piece.
Exactly.
I might talk about it.
Yeah.
Edward Morris for $5. Rowling has already openly talked about how she regrets the Black Hermione thing. Yes, she has. Worst case scenario, Harry is Indian because that's a thing now. Yeah, I don't think she's going to go that route. That would be a dumb route to go. There is diversity in Harry Potter, and what you can do is have those characters be in it a little more, okay? But they're already there. It's already a diverse cast. That's fucking ridiculous that people say it's not. It's Lee Jordan has a bigger part in the books. Have Lee Jordan hanging around the Weasley twins, okay? Fred and George. That's their best bud. He's like he's part of the inner circle. So, yeah, have him, more Dean Thomas, if you want to get technical about it. But it's about Harry, Hermione, and Ron, and we know what they look like. It's very specific. And if they go that route, this will be a hit series. If they adapt the book properly, that's all they need to do. It will be the biggest series HBO's probably ever had. At least the biggest opening. Like that first episode of a Harry Potter show will break every fucking record imaginable. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And then if it's good, it will shatter. It will outdo Game of Thrones numbers. It will outdo everything.
I agree. I just hope they don't go down the road of like Dumbledore goes to Palm Springs to meet up with his boyfriend. I think that would be
no. You adapt Dumbledore from the book, and you do exactly what it does from the book. And for the people who really want him to be gay, it's out there. It's insinuated very lightly, but it's never specifically said because it's a children's book and it's about wizards and it doesn't really matter who's fucking who. But it's there, and they briefly go over it, and they don't even really explain it in the movies. But there's a reason Dumbledore, has regrets, and they get into that. And the important part of that story is, sorry to spoil it for you, Dumbledore thought he was better than Muggles at one time. He had those thoughts and regrets those thoughts, and had a best friend or whatever that he had to eventually beat the shit out of and throw in the prison forever. So it's a good story, and I'd love to see that duel, right, between Dumbledore and Grindelwald. That would be fucking cool. Frameling for $20 on the demise of Geek Chic. It was like Geek Chic's been around for 20 years. Okay, it's had its time. It's all ooh ah, while the invisible hand of the free market is stroking your IP right before the no, when the deep voice of the real fans whispers in your ear, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" They're done. Yeah, it's gonna go back. Dude, I said this in my Rise of Skywalker review at the end. This is going to be in ashes when it's all done. And you know who's going to be there? We will be there. The nerds. We'll always be there. But everybody else will be gone. So once the writers and actors and posers and everybody else has had their fun and moved on, we'll still be into this shit. When it's not cool anymore. God, I can't wait for it to not be cool. I can't fucking wait. And it's here. Luke wakes up in the shower. What a horrible dream. Andrew Matthews for £2 British. I would take that.
That would be great.
Grayson Barnett for $4.99. Sorry, watching an hour behind. I just saw you're writing a book. That's awesome. I'm over halfway done with mine. Don't fuck it up, buddy. Well, I'll try not to. Well, it's kind of up to you guys. It's kind of up to you. You will read it. You will criticize it. You will like it. You will despise it. You will whatever. It's up to you. Jeremy's above average rooster for $4.99. Any way you could put together a list like your top 20 best comic book series of all time? Yeah, we could. I'm going to be making a lot of lists for the end of the year. I think that's fun. That's fun. I think we're working on another. Well, we're working. It's in the conception process, and there's still time. But another top 5 video for the end of the year, at least one. And yeah, I think that would be a good real BBC thing. And me and Az can like do our top 20 series. But when you mean series, you mean ongoing series or limited series? Because those are two different things. Maybe we do a top 10 series, top 10 limited series. Split the difference. Admin for $7.99. Gary, love your work. Love your work, Gary, Frank, and X-rated ghoul. Please give a shout out to my gay Asian masseur, Dixon Chin.
What?
I thought it was funny. Dixon Chin. Oh, that's good. Not applicable for $10. I probably need to do a video on Netflix's One Piece. I think you guys all got bamboozled into liking it with reverse psychology. Luffy's dialogue is crazy cringy. The only thing about it good about it was Zoro. Nope. Don't agree. Not applicable. I mean, if you don't like it, that's fine. I mean, you don't like it. We can disagree on that. But
I
no.
will say that it's in the spirit of manga to be crazy cringy.
It is,
way
but
he
there's a
was.
philosophy behind what he does. There's like a legit philosophy behind Luffy, and people, it might sound on the surface autistic, but it's something way different, way deeper. That goes through the entire series, and this is why it's the most popular manga in the world and stuff, and they really captured that. So, but hey, if you don't like it, you know, it's not like I thought I was going to fucking hate it. But I loved it. Welcome to the Radicalized Live. Welcome to the memberships, Tim Sommer, Butter Biscuit. Just saying, hey, always appreciate what you guys do, helping me get through work as I deliver mail. Hell, hey, deliver safely. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Cincinnati meetup win. Blaze in Phoenix. I will never say never, but Cincinnati has just never been no offense to Cincinnati. It's just not a place I've ever like, man, I want to go to Cincinnati.
What about like Nashville? I would love that.
Yeah, I'd love to go to
yes.
Nashville.
Nashville, yes.
If there's a Nashville meetup, I'll go because I'll go.
The only possible meetup after Wisconsin is here if I can figure out a way to rent out a theater with the Lord of the Rings extended edition trilogies.
They do a film festival in San Antonio.
They do, but I want to rent out a theater with the extended versions on because the 20th anniversary is coming up in just a couple months. 2 months from today. 2 months from today, Return of the King. Oh my God, I sound like an AI apology. Return of the King turns 20 years old.
That's insane.
Yep. We will be doing a live stream. Chris is welcome. On the main channel with the usual suspects. We've done Fellowship. We've done Two Towers. Yes, You're Committed Drinker. Yes, You're Committed Mauler. George the Giant Slayer is going to be on it. We'll get Robert Meyer Burnett. We'll get Chris. We'll get the gang back together to do a 20th anniversary. It'll be like a retrospect of the whole trilogy, but we'll focus on Return of the King. Magnum Norse. I love Al Gore. Inconvenient Truth is boss, bro. God, that guy was almost president. Okay.
Yeah.
But would he have been worse than George Bush? I
don't know.
I don't think so. I think they both would have sucked equally. Because
I
they
agree
both
on that.
sucked equally. I'm not a Bush fan. Not applicable. The manga's okay, but the adaptation is very bad. There you go. And I respect your opinion. Not applicable. DJ Ginormous for $10. Even better. Luke wakes up in a cold sweat, obviously hungover. He looks down on the floor and spies a half-empty bottle of Blue Sea cow milk and utters the words, "Never again," under his breath. I like that one, too. You can shoot that. That's easy to shoot. You quick cut, like, the worst scenes from the Disney trilogy, like, fast, like, within a minute 30, and then find another scene of Mark Hamill waking up, and then you can you can have the blue milk bottle. And find a scene of him saying "never again," or "hey, you can AI that shit now," and that would be it. I think it's doable. Radicalized. Can't wait for the book. Will you be narrating it? I will be doing the audiobook. Yes. I don't know how.
Are you gonna do what some people have done with their audiobooks? Is have other people like narrate a chapter? So get like The Drinker or other people to like just do a chapter reading your book. So it's like you hear your voice throughout, but also you get like other people's voices. I know others have done that.
If there's a forward or something like that, yeah, I would get other friends to do that.
Mahler.
Damn.
Be my personal.
Hang on, just got a sharp pain in my chest. That's not good at my age. That's fine. It's probably just that chill. Hey, my youngest, made chili last night.
Oh,
fucking
wow.
awesome. And I was like, it's mumble.
He's growing up. Those are like life skills right there.
Yeah. I made chili in a crock pot and it was fucking delicious. There's still some down. I'm going to get some after this.
Oh my God.
So
I'm so hungry. I'm
I
so
know,
hungry.
dude.
I haven't eaten.
We're almost done.
I haven't eaten.
Okay. But yeah, it must have been from working out. So yes, the I don't know. I got to talk to you and then I got to talk to them. Because they, them I can't talk about right now. I almost blew it right there. We'll say the publisher. Can we say the publisher? The publisher.
There you go. The publisher.
The publisher offered an audiobook that I think somebody else does. So I turned that down for the option of I would like to do it myself, but I want to do it right. Like, so we're probably going to have to find, like, I can't like do it here. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to go to a studio.
Have them help you like get it uploaded. I did an audiobook for Amazon. It's literally a 5-minute audio of me reading celebrities poop. And I get residual checks from Amazon.
No shit. I'll buy it.
I love it.
I'll buy it.
I mean, it's celebrities poop. It's on
Amazon. Go buy it.
Yeah, it's cheap. It's super cheap.
David
Literally
Hughes,
like
welcome to the radicalized level. Did Garrett forget how to change the name? Because we got to change Gelogia to the Fellowship.
I'll let him know again.
Yeah. Anonymous says, "This is my not so super chat. Hail. It's super. Some Norwegian guy. I did a thing. You did. I'm so happy. Clarkson Farm season 3. I mean, it's going to be months. I think we're going to get the Grand Tour episode first, but fuck. Love that show. You know what? On Nerdrotic Daily, I'll do a full review of season 1 and 2 eventually, and then right before we do season 3. We are still going to do the Venture Brothers live stream. We are going to still do the Venture Brothers live stream, probably next week. I just needed time. And it also helps that my kid wants to watch Venture Brothers. So we're going to sit down and rewatch the whole thing. Hail to the Fellowship. Wanted to say thank you guys to the beautiful X-Ray Girl for providing a break from the stresses of everyday life. Cheers.
Cheers.
Abigor says, remember when Kevin Smith cried when he was on the set of The Force Awakens? And remember when Kevin Smith cried when he cried for this and cried? I remember. Remember when Kevin Smith
he cries at it. Look, I interviewed a good friend of his, Malcolm Ingram, who's a filmmaker, documentary filmmaker. He busts Kevin's balls about crying so much. Why do you cry and film it? Like, and this is like one of his closest friends. It's just like, dude, like you're doing
I'll tell you exactly what it is, dude.
What is it?
He smokes too much weed.
You think so?
I don't know if
he's just too emotional.
I don't know if he's stopped recently or not, but you smoke enough weed, it kind of builds up your estrogen. It's not good for you to do something that much.
Right.
Not judging the weed smokers out there. If you do it once in a while and you're not an addict, dude, spark away. I think this stuff should be completely legal. But you're smoking that stuff every single day. You're wake and bake.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good. Stuff's not good for you. Lord J, nothing's good for you every day. I don't know about San Antonio, but my town in Cinemark that lets people rent it out about an hour west of Austin. If San Antonio's got to have a place, but if they don't, I'm open to being not in Austin. No offense to anybody who lives there, but fuck Austin. But outside of it, yeah, if it's like within the general area, I'll look into it today.
AMC Theaters does that too. You can rent a theater and just show. Paulie did that. Paulie from Latino Slant rented out.
Yeah, but can it be any movie? Do I have a list of an endless list of movies?
I don't know. That I don't know.
So, and would, it would have to be considered a private event. Of course, I would not charge for it because then Warner Brothers would have a serious problem with it, but I wouldn't charge for it. So, so I would rent it out, and then we would, of course, there would be limited tickets. We'd put them up on an Eventbrite or something like that, and then first come, first serve. That's the way it goes. Yep. Jeremy's above average. Rooster, $4.99. Buffalo Bills Mafia meetup. We all meet at a Bills game in nerd cosplays, get wasted, and jump through tables. Go Bills! I got nothing against the Bills. It's just it's dumbfounding that there's a fucking football team in Buffalo and not in San Diego.
Well, you had one.
6th or 7th largest fucking city in the country. One of the most beautiful, the best Super Bowl destination probably on the planet, outside of maybe Florida. But San Diego's like, quite frankly, it's prettier than Florida. But not much, but a little bit more. There's actual landscape and stuff, and not as much hairy dudes with little G-strings on. But not as much. I didn't say none. Chernobog for $1.99. Manga top tier, show great, but okay adaptation. There you go. Tutorial Slave for £5 British. Hey, Gary, have you detected any narrative or pacing issues in ISOM 1 and 2, or do you consider it an industry game changer? I consider it a really good comic book for somebody who's just starting out, and I've read a lot of those. All right. But as far as narrative problems, we're still in the 2nd issue. So no, I have not detected what I'd say the only thing is Eric's finding his feet writing. So I have read a lot of independent books that were just starting out, and ISOM is better than most of them. I'm more interested in most of them than the ones I've read throughout the years. And this is just the independent comic scene. I know there's a lot of people out there who think they're inventing a new independent comic scene. The independent comic scene has been around since comics have been around, okay? Yep. It goes through different iterations. This is just a different iteration. What Eric did was level up by doing things like, I'm going to pay for this comic up front before I sell it. I'm going to get 2 comics out within a reasonable amount of time that are 100 pages long by an actual comic artist that does have a narrative that I care about. Dude, where was it? I just had it. I must have put it in my closet. I had them out yesterday. I'll do my mini review on Real BBC next week. I was supposed to do it this week. I'll do it next week. But I think it's a story that starts out, you're looking for a girl. He's looking for a girl. It's a superhero who's out of the game, and he enlists his sister for help. Dad is out of the picture because he passed away, and he gets involved with an old high school buddy who's a big crime boss now. And there's Alpha Cores in this, and there's Yara, and they kind of literally run into each other, and that's all in the 1st issue. It's all build up. I don't know what people were you expect. Have you read Amazing Fantasy 15? Have you read it? It's a short story in a book called Amazing Fantasy that has another story at the end after Amazing Fantasy. I own 2 copies, by the way. It's a very basic story, It's a very basic story, and it takes time to build these stories. So I don't know what the expectations were. I thought it was pretty damn good for a first try writer. Phenomenal for a first time writer. And most of the books I have purchased independently that were independent publishers over the last, say, 5 years, it's better than most of them. It's better than most of them. And of the ones I've gotten, I'll just say of the ones I've gotten, there are books out there that I paid for that I will never get. And that's the way these things go. Kind of knew that when I was getting into it, so whatever. But of the ones I've gotten, it's better than the vast, vast, vast majority of them. So, and it's up to you, man. Go support ISOM, by all means. Brightest Day audiobooks for $2. Ahem. Thank you. Oh, yeah, because you're right. You do audiobooks. I get you. Gary, I'm your age. Every time I hear the word digital now, I start thinking about my doctor. My God, the man had big fingers.
Digital digits.
Soul 123 for $10. I'm still so freaking awesome. The man I watched on it's still so freaking awesome that the man I watched on G4 didn't disappear, and he is here with my man Gary. Been watching both of you for years. The fandom is strong. How dare Disney destroy what we loved? I'm gonna guess loved. Carrie Jones for 10 British, and thank you, and thanks for watching it. Chris says thank you. Yeah, it's weird doing a live stream with Chris. That doesn't stop being weird. Carrie Jones for 10 British pounds. BBC should sell the rights to Doctor Who, set it free. Well, they kind of have. Bad Wolf Entertainment controls it completely. And Disney distributes it now, which is a nightmare. But we'll find out. We will find out. Clown says, how come Disney went from family entertainment to portraying deadbeat dads? Because Disney sucks. They're not Disney anymore. This is corporate shit Disney. It's not Walt Disney's Disney. And all Bob Iger did was buy shit, and it was during a good economy when things were building up, and he didn't care about things like legacy. Fans care about legacy. Nobody in Hollywood cares about Star Wars legacy. They don't give a shit. They just want to use it up, crap it out, and never do it again, which is just a retarded way to buy something for billions of dollars that could last you forever. It's supposed to last you forever, but they were focused on what can we do with shirts and theme parks and didn't think about the story. No, the story doesn't make you the most money. The shirts and the theme parks do. But if you want to make money, you still have to have a good story. So that's what you need to focus on first. That's your foundation. Gary, since you are a gamer, play Lego Marvel right after I play King Kong. Deanio, thank you for the 3-pound super sticker, and almost 2 years now, Gary. Thank you for the inspiration and encouragement. I get to do this full time now. May the fellowship live forever. The common nerd, hail to you, brother. And I'm glad you get to do this full time. It's lots of fun. And we are it. Chris, thanks for hanging this long. Your stream is coming up. What do you got to say in your stream? What are you talking about?
We're going to be talking about the Marvels. We're going to be talking about Loki. I'm going to talk to Alan. I love talking to Alan. I'm sure there's some indie films that we'll discuss as well. So join us for Talk of the Marvels. We're going to give our take on all that.
5 seconds or less. What can we expect of Loki episode 3?
You're going to meet a Mr. Timely. It is Jonathan Majors back as a Kang variant, and you'll see him back in some old-timey times. He's Mr. Timely, who he invents when do they air them, by the way?
Thursday at 6.
Thursday at 6. So
yeah.
So you're going to see he's invented a new power source, which is up for bid. And you find out that this Kang variant is basically a con man. So, and he's got this sort of like, this sort of like Frederick Douglass, like weird hair. It's basically connects to the end of Ant-Man 3 when you saw him, right? Like they used a scene in Ant-Man 3. You're going to see that now. That's where you get.
Does it move the story forward?
I mean, a little, but it's like watching a team that just focuses on the ground game in football. It's
like watching a snail. I mean, it moves.
Yeah, it moves. Okay. Like, okay, you got 2 yards. We need to get a first down. Sorry for the football reference. But yeah, I'm so checked out. I like just don't care. Although I have to say, I really, really enjoyed last week's FNT. Danica knocked it out of the park. She was
She's
so
great.
fun. She talked about hard nipples. Like there was just, she was great. It was great. So it was awesome. And X-Ray Girl is always awesome. So I don't even need,
Oh, thank
doesn't
you.
even need to be said. She's always great.
And I don't need
As
to say
much-
anything either.
Yeah, exactly. You don't say anything, and it's great. But yeah, so I don't. Yes, you're gonna see Jonathan Majors Kang. I don't know. It still feels like it's going nowhere. It still feels like they're just sort of making stuff up and throwing it at the wall, and you know.
So it's halfway through. The series is halfway through, and like nothing really happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some kind of happens in episode 4. I don't want to ruin it. Spoiler.
Yeah, I know what it is, but
yeah.
yeah. Which, yeah.
And then, you know, I don't know. I'm so checked.
I've noticed the Samba TV numbers for episode 1 have not come out. I'm going to check right now.
Ooh.
They have not come out. And like they came out with the Ahsoka finale pretty quick, which was the same week. So let's go to Samba TV. Let's see if that has changed. Nope. No Loki numbers at all for the first episode. And we are in episode 3. So I'm guessing they're really low. They're not worth reporting. Kind of interesting. X-Ray Girl, what you got coming up?
I have Poor Choices tonight with Tugs, 9 p.m. Eastern on Poor Choices YouTube channel. And then you can sub to me, X-Ray Girl, Rumble Locals YouTube, where I play games like Cyberpunk. I still have to play the Little Nightmares DLC and Little Nightmares 2. And then if you guys have a suggestion on another scary game, I can play it. Don't know if I'll like it, but it is spooky season. It is. And
Oh, yeah.
Chris, you're looking a lot whiter now.
Am I? I don't know what's going on. The camera since yesterday on StreamYard, it's my settings are all off. I look like either an Oompa Loompa or I look white. I don't know what's going on.
People.
All right. This will be
Okay. Cool.
This will be up on Nerdrotic Live in a couple hours. It's gonna be unlisted, so keep watching. You can keep watching. But if you jump out, just hang on to that link. Thanks to the Modrotics. Thanks to everyone who left a super chat and donation. Can't do it without you guys. We love the fellowship. We love you guys. I'll see you guys in Wisconsin. And we have Friday Night Tights with
Carl
Sargon of Akkad.
Wow.
Sargon is going to be joining us this Friday.
Good.
And yeah, it's going to be fun. And I will be in Palm Springs it's Forbidden Frontier work. Doing some Forbidden Frontier work. So if you're at the CPAC, it's not the conservative one. It's the ancient civilization one. If you're there to see Jimmy Corsetti and Graham Hancock, I'll be there. Come say hi if you're inside the building. Catch you guys later. Bye.
Later.
All right.
Are we off camera?